die.
Step number 1, communication and sketches. So, clients usually reach out to me via my email form on my website, and I do a lot of communication usually on emails. That's because I also organize them in my email folders. And yeah, here is my website, for example. A portfolio can be really helpful so clients know what projects you've already worked on in the past. I'm using Squarespace for mine, and I have a form that they can fill out to contact me. When I know what I'm supposed to paint, I start with gathering references for my illustration, and then I start with rough sketches to see if I get the idea right. This time the task was to paint an evil witch that has a little boy trapped in a magical stone within a chamber, so having a really epic scene, and Sam wanted that illustration for their release, so that was the main concept. I've gathered my references together, and Sam was nice enough to also give me some reference in the beginning, and we wrote a lot, communicated a lot. That's just something I've learned with the years. That's really useful. It's part of my routine also. I don't feel completed if I don't give my client a update of the day. It's just so engraved in me now, and yeah. But honestly, it's a great thing to do, because this way you always know if you're going into the right direction, or if you've forgotten anything or misunderstood something. And so you're on the safe side. I can only recommend, if you work on commissions or are thinking of working on commissions, communicate with your client as often as you can. It can be really beneficial. In the initial sketch stage, I like to experiment with different ideas and compositions that I come up with. And I keep it rough. This way it's not too much time wasted if I do something completely wrong. And I can explore different things, so I can definitely recommend doing that if you are trying to figure out for yourself how to do commissions, or if you're curious about how other artists do it. Another thing is, sometimes our first idea is not the best, so pushing it a little bit can go a long way. Also, I do recommend to warm up before you start sketching around. It helps me, certainly. Once the sketches are down, I sent them to Sam again, and they told me that I misunderstood something. The stone was too small that I sketched in, so I changed my concept. Sam then approved one of the sketches, and I continued to step number 2, values and colors. So, to polish the idea, I've blocked in some base values. And as far as I remember, I had like 2 ideas I liked, so I blocked in 2 different concepts for Sam, just to see what reads the best later on and which one goes into the perfect direction of what they like. So this process can help a lot. I focus on the main shapes and composition mostly. Try to find a good balance of shapes, lights, shadow, and just like an overall structure. Something like this does not take too long, which gives me the freedom again to try different ideas. However, of course, it does take longer than the initial rough sketches. This is why I usually go into that stage when the idea is set. So here are the 2 thumbnails I gave my client again, and they were able to choose. One more time. I like to give my clients choices. It feels like a collaboration that way. Once the final idea was approved, I've put in some more time to figure out the main lights and shadows and polishing the thumbnail a little bit, as you can see here. Then one of my favorite parts comes, playing with colors. I love colors. Here my client can choose the favorite one, and I continue with step number 3, starting to paint. So until now everything was planning. I like to have a solid foundation for my art, and especially for commission work, because once I have this main thumbnail down and the main colors down, I have like the receipt for the painting and the main shapes for the painting, and giving feedback until that point is super easy for me, and because I can still change so much. So this part is really initial and the one that needs the most communication. My workflow was not always this planned out. However, after doing this for a few years, I realized a good structure can help me and everyone else And now I stuck to it. I've got really part of my routine when I do commissions, and it helped me a lot to prevent mistakes such as misunderstandings or having to change things later in the process that would take many hours to repaint and polish. It's one thing. So what am I doing in the process of detailing, rendering, painting, adding light, adding shadow, and so forth? So at this stage, this is the stage that takes the longest to finish. That's why I make sure I like my concept, I like my planning stage, and I especially make sure that my client like it, because this takes weeks. The overall start till finish of this painting took I think 3 months, but we worked like rather slow on it, partly. So I don't know how long the painting itself took, but quite a while. So rendering, I think that's like a story for itself. I could do like 100 tutorials on each part of this, so I'm taking it slow, just staying with the process. So what I do here is I have my references, I have everything together on my second screen, and I think, okay, where's the light source coming from? How does it affect the forms? Where do I want to add more details, or what parts need more work? I spent hours painting hair, I spent hours making the face look the way I wanted, and step by step the painting comes together with a lot of time and effort and dedication. But it's so worth it. It's this part, you can put on your favorite music, I mean I do, or music that fits the painting. It's something I like to do as well, so that I can bring in my own emotions into the piece. In the end, how long this step takes depends on your art style and choices you've made as an artist. For example, I decided to do the high polished look because I really like it and started learning this a few years back. And so it's what I do now. I am happy with my art style. And even if it takes ages to do, it's mine and I'm happy with it. So I think that's important, that you like it yourself, right? So that's one of the things. Of course, I've sent my client updates every now and then, just in case. You never know. And also to ask for certain details for the outfit, if I forgot anything or if they had input ideas. Sam had some ideas of giving her a harness that I've done later on, a purple one, was really cool, and we decided to add some purple elements to balance out all the green. So yeah, I really do work together with my client and it's nice. Some clients prefer to just not communicate as much, which is okay as well, but I still send updates. It's better to send 1 or 2 messages too much than missing out on something. So we are almost at the final stages of me polishing, and I want to take the time to tell you about the story behind this illustration, since this was made for Sam's book release. In the strings of destiny, chaos follows the valor of Asgard's betrayal's innocent bloodline descendants, including Faron's younger brother, imprisoned into the Soul Stone. Faron, tormented by his inability to save his brother, must face his demons alongside Marcus to secure their future as the Battle of Ragnarok intensifies. My Spanish R is breaking out. I hope you liked that small impression of the book. Its preview. We are still at the rendering stage of the painting, since it includes a lot of time, as I said before. At this step I started to look for my references for the environment of the piece, and I can recommend Pexels. It's free to use copyright wise, has great reference materials. I like to use the lasso tool for sharper objects in background or on character, and yeah, that one was used for this one too, as you can see. And yeah, just added more and more details, looking at my references, being about the light source, and here's a little time lapse of how that looked. And usually I have my references on a second screen. Here's the result of me working on the environment. And the final parts of detailing I actually streamed. If you're interested in watching this in real time, it's still up on my channel. If you like my work or are curious what I will do in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Comments and shares are also very welcome. I'm new to YouTube and trying my best over here. I have a lot of plans for future videos, so stay tuned for that. So here comes the final illustration. If you'd like to work with me, contact me. If you like my work, feel free to support me on Patreon. It means a lot. I also do have a collection of original paintings on my website if you're interested in that. Check it out. And thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. See you next Sunday. Goodbye. Oh, if you have any questions, just share them below. I will answer it.